The Explore the Tropics event is in full swing now at Whole Foods Market. It's a celebration of tropical fruits throughout the store, starting with great deals on fresh, juicy seasonal produce. There's a new melty tropical heat pizza only at Whole Foods Market through March. And that famous mango yuzu chantilly cake is finally back in the bakery department. You'll also find tempting tropical marinated proteins in their meat and seafood departments. Explore the tropics today at Whole Foods Market.
Here's what Pittsburgh is talking about. The city just received more than $3 million in state grant money for infrastructure projects. Bridge and street repairs are a major part of those funds, but some of it is for sidewalks too, which aren't always accessible for everyone. We're bringing back our conversation with Access Mob Pittsburgh founder Alisa Grishman to learn what it's like to navigate the city with a wheelchair and what we can do to make Pittsburgh more accessible. It's Wednesday, March 22nd. I'm Francesca Dabecco, and this is CityCast Pittsburgh.
Anytime I start working with a group of students or anyone really, I ask the question of what is the most common disability accommodation in the country? And everyone's silent every time. And then I'll give you a hint. You're looking at someone with it right now, and they'll all say wheelchair. I'll say, no, it's glasses.
Yeah.
And that, whoa, moment on all of their faces as they suddenly realize that glasses are just a normalized disability accommodation. And then you get them going, and they kind of just get it.
So, Alisa, can you tell me a little bit about the problem areas that the group is focused on right now?
Yeah, we have 3 big battlegrounds with the sidewalk that we're working on right now. The first has been a bit of a success recently, and it's sidewalk dining, because there isn't a good regulatory system in place for sidewalk dining to define where the dining can happen and how much of the sidewalk is still accessible.
Right.
And so I all the time, I almost fell off a sidewalk once trying to get around a restaurant in Shadyside. And now with the pandemic and more sidewalk dining happening, a lot of disability advocates were really concerned about having more and more barriers to both getting past on the sidewalk, but also parking, because people who use wheelchair vans need to be able to put the ramp out. And if the sidewalk dining is there against the curb as opposed to against the building, we can't get out of our cars.
Yeah.
Thankfully, as I said, this was a bit of a win with the city. We had a number of people working directly with city council people, and they got the changes made to make sure that there was enough defined space to let people get past, and to make sure that it was written down that sidewalk dining had to be against the building rather than against the curb. So, at least that one, there's a bit of hope.
High fees and a low rate. That's what your big bank offers for your business savings. It's time to bring your business to Live Oak Bank. For a limited time, earn $150 when you open a new business savings account at Live Oak Bank. Convenient digital access, superior customer support, no maintenance fees, and one of the best interest rates in the country. Open a business savings account before March 31st to qualify. For full offer details and terms, go to liveoakbank.com/Spotify.
The Explore the Tropics event is in full swing now at Whole Foods Market. It's a celebration of tropical fruits throughout the store, starting with great deals on fresh, juicy seasonal produce. There's a new melty tropical heat pizza only at Whole Foods Market through March. And that famous mango yuzu chantilly cake is finally back in the bakery department. You'll also find tempting tropical marinated proteins in their meat and seafood departments. Explore the tropics today at Whole Foods Market.
So I know that one of the things that you do to sort of keep check on accessibility in Pittsburgh is you report unsafe sidewalk conditions through the MyBurgh app. For folks who've never used it, how does that work?
So MyBurg is an extension of calling 311 on your phone to report things directly to the city. You can use it from everything from down wires, unsafe sidewalk conditions, cars that have been left unattended, you name it, you can report it there. The MyBurg app is a nice, convenient way to do it without having to call. It also allows you to attach photos so people can see what you're talking about. And so when you find a problem area, you log on to the app, you type in the address, you type a description of what the problem is, you kind of choose what section it routes to, sidewalks, vehicles, trees, whatever, and you attach the photos and you let it go.
I feel like this should be a necessary download for everyone in Pittsburgh.
I really encourage it because it's convenient, especially if you see something when you're on the run, you take a photo of it, you take a photo of a street sign, and then later from the convenience of your couch, you can plug in whatever you see. And it's great for everybody and not just disabled people, not just, advocates, activists, everyone.
Absolutely.
I also I love working with student groups. There are a number of student volunteer groups out of Pitt, Duquesne, CMU. They do days of service.
Cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I'll take groups of students. I've had 20 students at a time. We'll do a canvas of a neighborhood. So I'll send them in little groups of 2 or 3 with the app installed on their phones and let them do reports. And we've actually got a lot of changes made and a lot of improvements made to the sidewalks.
What did you find in that? And were there any resolutions?
Yeah, and in fact, I can touch on 2 different things you asked there. One, specific resolutions for the sidewalks. When you report via the app, you do get updates of, someone has been sent to look at it. The complaint was found to be valid. That's now been fixed. So that's satisfying. And then if I know that it hasn't been fixed over a certain amount of time, I personally just go to higher ups and whatnot. So there's a chunk of sidewalk up the street from me that I reported for 3 years and nothing happened. I finally emailed the mayor's chief of staff directly and said, hey,
wow,
how can I get this fixed? It turns out the city owned the building that was a part of, so they're citing themselves for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I know. And so they fixed it in a day and a half, but the best thing is then the mayor's chief of staff did a tweet kind of taking credit for it. And I was like, I bugged you for 3 years. Don't even.
No, that's really good to hear, though. I mean, it's a bummer that it took that long to get a response, but the fact that, the city owned up to it. But I just tend to think about all of the situations that are just like that throughout the city. And in your particular case, this was one in your neighborhood that you've had eyes on for a while. But I'm glad to hear it got fixed, and hopefully that makes your life a little easier.
Yeah.
What else are you focused on right now?
Well, the 2 problems that we're still facing and having a lot of trouble with and having a lot of resistance on are the e-scooters and the delivery robots. E-scooters are a problem. People ride them on the sidewalk, which is illegal.
Right.
And so that's a hazard for small children, for blind people, for people who are slow or unbalanced. Definitely a problem for wheelchairs. I had a standoff with someone who got really mad at me, and I said, no, you're the one breaking the law. No. I get the delivery robots I mentioned. That's a state thing. The city has no say on it. I'm not going to give the city heck about that because they literally can't fix it right now. We could just get humans and pay them better and they would do a good job.
Good point.
There is time and a place where an autonomous vehicle is useful, but essentially the things that the state the state is planning on bringing in, these very tall robots that can go at quite impressive speeds, then you look at our sidewalks, and it's like, I'm not just worried about the wheelchair users. I'm worried about a robot tipping over and flattening a child.
Right. Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh, but like, it's going to happen.
And these robots are going to have to navigate the same sidewalks that you're trying to fight for.
And it pisses me off. It pisses me off that they might improve the sidewalks for the robots, but not for wheelchair users. Like, that is bull.
I like when you get fired up, Alisa.
I should have more rights than a robot. I should be more valued
Absolutely.
than a robot. I get that I don't have it, bring income to the city, but like, my humanity should be more important than a robot.
Absolutely. So, Alisa, you said something before in the past that really stuck with me. You said that your wheelchair doesn't disable you. The world does.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share what that means to you?
People use the phrase confined to a wheelchair and wheelchair bound. And those are horrible, horrible things to say because they make wheelchairs sound like some imprisoning thing.
Mm-hmm.
My wheelchair is my freedom. I have multiple sclerosis. I can walk through my house, but I can't walk or stand for very long. I get dizzy, I fall, I hurt. And so I use my wheelchair. My wheelchair is a tool that I use to get out, the same as, someone who doesn't want to carry their child has a stroller because carrying a child is tiring. For me, walking is tiring, so I have a wheeled thing to get around. In a world that had great sidewalks, sliding doors, ramps, I wouldn't be disabled. I'd be able to get everywhere just the same as, someone who's currently able-bodied is able to do now. It's the world that creates the disability, not my chair.
Alisa Grishman, disability advocate, founder and leader of Access Mob Pittsburgh. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Before you go, a little more news. Remember the pandemic home buying frenzy that had people outbidding and overpaying for houses? According to real estate experts, the fight is fizzling out, and Pittsburgh area home prices are expected to stabilize. The median home price in Pittsburgh last month was $200,000, which is a 7% drop from last year. Senator John Fetterman still claims Braddock, but he doesn't have an office in Pittsburgh, at least not yet. He's still getting inpatient treatment for depression, but his office says they're going to open a home base in downtown next month. It'll be his 5th in-state office. And the 1027 Healing Partnership plans to keep working another 5 years. The group was created in 2018 in the aftermath of the mass shooting at Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. They provide mental health support, and right now, with the trial for the accused shooter coming up in April, there's a lot more work to do. Our very own Mallory Falk, who grew up attending services at Tree of Life, talked to them on the anniversary of the attack about processing that grief. We'll have a link in the show notes. That's all for today on CityCast Pittsburgh. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'd love it if you give us a review and spread the word. Tell your friends, neighbors, the checkout folks at Giant Eagle. We want to keep reaching Pittsburghers like you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. I write it, and I work hard to bring you the news you need to know, plus all the other fun stuff like events and neighborhood guides. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then. This is my trial one, sorry.